Tadala Mwenya moved through Lusaka like a man made of steel. People watched him step out of his luxury cars and walk into meetings without a single smile or pause. He spoke only about numbers, deadlines, and profit. Workers feared him because he never showed emotion, never softened his voice, and never cared about anything beyond business. To him, feelings slowed people down, and he had no time for anything that did not increase success. When Zivai Mukand came to work for him, she carried a quiet sadness that she tried to hide behind steady hands and polite manners. She worked late hours, did every task perfectly, and kept her head lowered. Behind her calm nature was a heavy story. She had lost her sister, and was now raising the little boy her sister left behind. With no relatives to help, she secretly brought the child with her, hoping he would stay quiet so she could keep this job. Kamal, the small boy she protected, followed her like a shadow. He missed a mother he would never see again, and Zivai tried every day to give him comfort even when she was exhausted. She whispered stories to him, wiped his tears, and made him laugh with silly faces so he wouldn't feel lonely. She hoped Tadala would never discover him. One evening, Tadala returned home earlier than usual. As he walked through the silent hallway, he froze when he heard a soft voice. Kamal looked up at Zivai and whispered a question that carried deep longing. That gentle request made Tadala stop breathing for a moment. It dug into old memories he had buried for years. Memories of being a small boy who waited at the door for a mother who never returned. From that night, something inside him shifted. He started noticing the way Zivai comforted the child, how she guided him with patience, and how she held him with real care despite her own pain. Her gentleness made the cold walls of his heart feel less solid. When Kamal suddenly fell ill, Tadala acted without thinking. He rushed them to the best hospital, stayed with them, and worried in a way he had never worried before. Learning the truth about the child's situation made him feel something unfamiliar. Respect, admiration, and a strange warmth he couldn't ignore. Helping them felt right. For the first time in his life, success meant more than money. It meant protecting the two people who had unknowingly changed him. He hires Zivai Mukand, a calm, hard-working young woman who walks into his mansion with quiet eyes and a tired smile. She speaks softly, moves carefully, and treats every task like it is the most important thing in the world. What Tadala does not know is that she is carrying a heavy burden. She recently lost the only sister she had, and now she is responsible for a small boy who depends on her for everything. She works long hours, taking whatever job she can find, because the child she is raising needs food, clothes, and safety more than she needs rest. Zivai never complains. She washes floors, cleans windows, organizes rooms, and cooks simple meals without showing even a hint of frustration. Her quiet strength is the kind that grows from pain, but she never lets that pain show. Every evening after finishing her main job, she rushes to Tadala's home, hoping this new work will help her survive another month. She lowers her head when she speaks to him, thinking a humble attitude will help her keep the position. Inside her heart, she carries worry every second. She knows she must protect her nephew, a child who lost his mother far too soon. She tries to balance everything, long hours, heavy responsibilities, and the emotional weight of grief, yet she still manages to offer warmth to a little boy who needs comfort more than anything. She whispers gentle promises to him at night, hoping he will one day forget the sadness that surrounds them. What makes her remarkable is the way she handles all of this with silent courage. She does not ask for help. She does not share her struggles. She simply keeps going, believing that working hard is the only path forward. Tadala notices her dedication, but does not understand the full story behind her tired eyes. He sees a reliable worker, not realizing that she is fighting battles far bigger than any task in his home. Every time she arrives at the mansion, she brings a sense of calm that even Tadala feels, though he pretends not to. Her presence softens the cold atmosphere of the place just a little, even if she does not know it. And without trying, she begins to change the rhythm of his home, one quiet step at a time, simply by showing up with determination, patience, and a heart that refuses to give up. Zivai brings along her 4-year-old nephew, Kamau, because she has no one else to take care of him, and leaving him alone at home is impossible for her heart. Every day she ties his small shoes, wipes his face, and whispers to him to stay quiet while she works. She knows bringing a child into a rich man's mansion could cost her the job, so she keeps him close, always making sure he stays out of sight. She teaches him to sit in corners, to play with soft toys silently, and to hold her hand whenever someone passes by. Her biggest fear is that Tadala will find out and tell her to leave, and then she will have nothing left. Kamau, small and curious, watches everything with wide eyes. He does not understand the rules, but he understands that his aunt loves him and is trying her best. Sometimes he tugs on her dress, wanting comfort. Sometimes he hides behind furniture, afraid of the big house and the strict man who owns it. He misses the warmth that disappeared from his life when his mother passed, and Zivai tries to fill that empty space even when she is exhausted. She hums songs to calm him, shares her little food with him, and holds him tightly when he feels scared. While Zivai cleans floors and dusts shelves, she glances at him every few seconds to make sure he is safe. She whispers gentle reminders, hoping he won't cry or ask for her loudly. Her heart races whenever she hears footsteps or doors opening. She prays that Kamau's presence will remain unnoticed, because losing this job would break everything she is fighting for. Sometimes Kamau falls asleep in a corner wrapped in a small blanket, and Zivai works faster during those moments, trying to finish tasks before he wakes. She feels guilty making him stay quiet for so long, but she sees no other choice. Her entire world has narrowed down to keeping him fed, protected, and smiling. Every move Zivai makes is filled with worry, love, and determination. She carries the weight of a mother even though she never planned to take that role. And as she tiptoes through the mansion with the little boy hiding behind her, she hopes that life will give her a chance to keep him safe without having to choose between work and the only family she has left. Tadala arrives home early and overhears Kamau's soft whisper before anyone notices he is standing there. He steps quietly into the hallway, planning to check on some documents, but the gentle voice of a child stops him. He hears Kamau asking Zivai a question filled with longing, a question no child should have to ask. The tiny voice reaches him like a sharp blow, freezing him in place. He had never expected to hear something so innocent, yet so painful inside his own house. For a moment, he forgets to breathe. He slowly moves closer, careful not to make a sound. He sees Zivai kneeling beside the boy, her hand brushing his cheek softly. Kamau looks at her with big, hopeful eyes, waiting for an answer that might soothe the emptiness he feels. Tadala watches the scene from the shadows, unable to walk away. He has seen many things in his life, deals, power, failures, but nothing hits him as hard as the sight of a child asking for a mother he lost too soon. The scene pulls open memories he has buried deep inside himself. He remembers being small, standing near a door that never opened for him. He remembers the feeling of wanting someone to return but realizing they never would. The same loneliness he once felt echoes in Kamau's voice, and it shakes him. His usual coldness falters, replaced by a heavy ache he thought he had erased long ago. As he continues to watch, he sees Zivai's eyes fill with sadness. She holds Kamau close, whispering comforting words, trying to ease the pain he carries. Tadala notices how gently she wipes the child's tears and how carefully she speaks, like she wants to protect him from every hurt. The love in her simple movements stirs something in him, something unfamiliar yet powerful. He stands there, unable to step forward or turn away. His heart, usually locked behind walls of work and pride, starts to feel strangely warm and heavy at the same time. The house, usually silent and cold, suddenly feels too big, too empty. He realizes he has never witnessed true tenderness inside his home until this moment. As Kamau curls into Zivai's arms, Tadala feels a pull he cannot explain. That one innocent question changes the way he sees both of them. He begins to understand that not everything in life can be controlled or ignored. Some moments force their way into your heart, whether you want them to or not. The question drags up Tadala's childhood scars, abandoned by his own mother, raised by housekeepers who came and went, and the memories hit him harder than he expects. He stands frozen, feeling the old pain crawl back into his chest, the same pain he spent years covering with work, money, and strict control. As he listens to Kamau's small voice, he is suddenly a little boy again, waiting at a gate for someone who never returned. He remembers crying into pillows no one softened, remembers birthdays where only strangers stood beside him, remembers hoping each new housekeeper would stay, only to watch them pack their bags and disappear like everyone else. Those early years shaped him into the man he is now, sharp, distant, unbending. He taught himself not to feel because feelings meant disappointment. He pushed people away before they could leave him. He built walls higher than any building he owned. And for the longest time, it worked. He lived without needing anyone, convinced that emotions were nothing but traps. But hearing Kamal's fragile request cracks something deep inside him. The hurt he had buried rises to the surface. He realizes the boy's fear and loneliness mirror his own past, and that understanding shakes him. He sees his younger self in the child, wishing for comfort, wishing for someone to stay. The memory is so vivid that he has to blink it away. As he watches Zivai hold Kamal tightly, comforting him in ways no one comforted him, the contrast hits him even harder. He had never seen such gentle love inside his home. No one ever held him like that. No one listened to his fears. No one stayed long enough to make him feel safe. The room feels different now. Not cold, not empty, but filled with something he cannot name. He feels a strange pull toward the scene in front of him. The past and present mixed together, making him question everything he believed about keeping distance. He realizes that the child's simple question is not just painful. It is powerful enough to reopen wounds he thought were sealed forever. Standing there, he understands something he never admitted. He has been living with an invisible hole in his heart, pretending it didn't exist. And for the first time, he wonders if maybe, just maybe, the warmth he sees between Zivai and Kamal is something he wants but never allowed himself to feel. Night after night, he sees Zivai calming Kamal's fears, teaching him manners, and giving him meals with a love that she barely has for herself. Tadala watches from the shadows, noticing the way her hands gently brush the boy's hair, how she holds his small hand as if protecting him from the entire world. Every word she says is soft, patient, and full of care, and he cannot help but be drawn in. He has never seen such dedication, such quiet strength, and it makes him feel a strange warmth that he cannot name. Kamal listens to her every instruction, his small face lighting up when she praises him. She teaches him how to say please and thank you, how to greet people politely, and how to control his little tantrums. Tadala notices that her lessons are not just about manners. They are about love, patience, and guiding a child through a world that can be harsh. She sacrifices her own comfort, working long hours, eating little, and sleeping less, just so Kamal can feel safe and happy. Tadala has never realized that care could take so much strength. Sometimes Kamal becomes scared or cries quietly in the corner, missing the mother he will never see again. Zivai kneels beside him, wrapping her arms around him, whispering soothing words, and rocking him gently until his breathing slows. Tadala feels an unfamiliar ache in his chest. He realizes that this small act of kindness, this daily devotion, is more powerful than anything he has achieved in business. Her patience, her selflessness, and her courage to keep going despite hardship shake something deep inside him. Tadala begins to understand how much love can teach, how it can shape a child, and how it can touch even the hardest heart. He starts to watch more carefully, noticing the little things. The way she smiles at him when Kamal laughs, the way she reassures him during storms or dark nights, the way she puts the child's needs above her own. Each night, the scene leaves a mark on him. He starts imagining what it would feel like to have someone care for him in that way. Someone who gives without expecting anything in return. For the first time, Tadala feels emotions stirring that he had buried for decades. He feels awe, respect, and a longing he cannot deny. Zivai's love for Kamal shows him a world he never allowed himself to see. A world where heart matters more than power, where selflessness can create joy, and where even the coldest man can begin to feel warmth again. For the first time, Tadala feels something shift. The stone-hearted billionaire, who had always believed power and money were the only things that mattered, finds himself stopped in his tracks by a maid's quiet care and a little boy's pure innocence. He watches Zivai patiently teach Kamal to speak politely, feed him carefully, and soothe him when he cries. The way she gives everything she has without expecting anything back leaves him feeling both amazed and unsettled. He realizes that no wealth, no mansion, no success could ever produce this kind of love. Every night, he sees her move through the house with soft determination, attending to Kamal's needs. She whispers stories, laughs quietly at his little jokes, and comforts him when fear creeps in. Tadala notices details he has never cared about before. The gentle touch of her hand on the boy's shoulder, the warmth in her voice, the endless patience in her eyes. He begins to understand that strength does not only come from dominance or money. True strength is in giving, in caring for someone else even when it is hard. Kamal's laughter, his small smiles, and the trust he places in Zivai start to crack the walls Tadala has built around himself. He feels a strange warmth in his chest, something unfamiliar but welcome. The silence of his mansion no longer feels comfortable. Instead, it feels lonely, and he finds himself drawn to watch them. There is a life here that he never knew existed, one filled with love, vulnerability, and connection. It fascinates him and frightens him at the same time. Tadala begins to see that Zivai's quiet courage and selfless care reveal something missing in his own life. He realizes he has spent so many years avoiding feelings, pushing people away, and convincing himself that emotions were unnecessary. Now watching them, he wonders if everything he has worked for, wealth, power, control, is worth anything if it cannot bring this kind of joy. Kamal suddenly falls sick at work, his small body shivering and weak. Zivai's heart races as she realizes he needs help immediately. She lifts him in her arms, his tiny head resting against her chest, and rushes toward Tadala, who is nearby. Tadala's eyes widen as he sees the boy trembling, his cheeks pale and lips dry. Without thinking twice, he grabs his car keys and quickly drives them to the nearest private hospital, the fear and worry in his chest stronger than any deal or contract he has ever faced. In the hospital, Tadala waits anxiously in the sterile, bright waiting room while doctors check on Kamau. He watches Zivai pacing, her hands trembling slightly, yet still trying to stay composed. He notices how tired she looks, the worry etched into her face, and the way she gently touches Kamau to reassure him. It dawns on him that the love and care she has shown were not because she had to, but because she chose to put the boy first every single day. When the doctors finish their examination, they confirm that Kamau needs rest, medication, and careful attention to recover fully. Tadala listens closely as Zivai explains the boy's routine, his diet, and his needs. Slowly, the truth becomes clear to him. Zivai is not his mother. She has no legal claim, no obligation, yet she has been giving him everything she can. Her nights, her energy, her life, all sacrificed so this child can grow up safe and loved. Tadala feels a mix of shock, admiration, and something deeper stirring inside him. Seeing her selflessness up close, the reality hits harder than any business failure or financial loss ever could. He realizes that the little boy, who had touched his heart long ago, is entirely dependent on this remarkable woman. Zivai's courage and love, despite her own struggles, show him a depth of human kindness he had never experienced. Tadala feels a shift inside, the walls he built around his heart starting to crumble. As Kamau lies resting in the hospital bed, Zivai sitting beside him, Tadala quietly promises himself that he will protect them. He wants to ensure Kamau is safe and cared for, and that Zivai is no longer struggling alone. In that moment, he understands that true wealth is not measured in money or power, but in love, sacrifice, and the family that chooses to stay together against all odds. Tadala feels a new purpose awakening, one that reaches beyond business into something far more meaningful. Moved, he pays all medical bills, offers her a proper home, and gives her a stable full-time position. Tadala feels a wave of relief as he watches Zivai's exhausted face light up with surprise and gratitude. For the first time, he sees how much she has been carrying alone, and he realizes that helping her is the least he can do. He arranges for Kamau's treatments to continue without a single worry for Zivai, making sure the boy will recover fully and safely. Every payment he signs, every arrangement he makes, feels different from his usual business decisions. This time, it's personal, and it warms his heart. He organizes a new home for them, simple yet comfortable, where Kamau can play without fear and Zivai can rest without constantly checking her surroundings. Tadala personally inspects the place, ensuring it has everything they need. A cozy bedroom for the boy, a kitchen stocked with fresh food, and a space where Zivai can feel at ease. The mansion feels less cold now, and Tadala begins to understand the meaning of care beyond wealth. At work, he offers Zivai a permanent, full-time position with proper benefits and fair wages. He wants her to know that she no longer has to sacrifice everything just to survive. Seeing her accept the offer with humility and tears in her eyes, Tadala feels something shift inside him. Admiration, respect, and a strange sense of pride. He realizes that she has shown him a kind of bravery and love he has never experienced in his life. Kamau, sensing the change, runs into Tadala's arms, holding on to him tightly. "Uncle T," he whispers, smiling despite his small, weak body. Tadala freezes for a moment, surprised by the boy's trust and affection. That simple nickname, said with pure innocence, touches his heart deeply. He lifts Kamau carefully, feeling the tiny arms around his neck, and for the first time, he understands the bond of family, a bond that cannot be bought or earned with money, but one that grows through love, protection, and care. From that day, their lives begin to change. Tadala watches them settle into their new home, laughing, playing, and growing closer. He begins to participate, learning how to be present, how to nurture, and how to connect with a family he never thought he would have. In saving Kamau and supporting Zivai, he discovers that happiness can come from giving, from love, and from opening his heart, lessons that no business deal could ever teach. Tadala, once emotionally numb, finds himself drawn into their small world. The quiet evenings spent watching Kamau play, listening to his laughter, and seeing Zivai care for him stir feelings he thought were gone forever. He begins to notice little things, how Kamau's eyes light up when he tells a small joke, how Zivai hums softly to soothe him, how they share simple moments that feel richer than any deal he has ever closed. Slowly, Tadala realizes that this tiny family has opened a door inside him that he didn't even know existed. He starts spending more time with them, learning to read the moods of a child, and to respond with kindness instead of commands. Tadala watches Kamau's small hands reach for him without hesitation, and he feels a strange pride in being needed. Each day, he understands more about love and patience, about giving without expecting anything back. He notices how Zivai manages her sacrifices with grace, teaching him that strength can be quiet and unwavering. Their small routines, morning greetings, shared meals, bedtime stories, begin to feel like the most important part of his day. The city starts to talk about Tadala differently. People who knew him as a strict, unfeeling billionaire begin to see him soften. His friends notice the way he smiles at the smallest things, how he pauses to listen, and how he seems happier in ways money could never create. The news spreads subtly, the city buzzing with curiosity about the man whose life changed because of one innocent question from a little boy. Tadala himself barely recognizes the change, but he feels it every time Kamau runs to him, calling him Uncle T, or when Zivai thanks him with a quiet, grateful smile. He begins to understand that wealth, power, and success had never filled the emptiness he carried. This small family, built on care and sacrifice, shows him that true richness comes from connection, trust, and love. Tadala experiences warmth in his home, joy in shared laughter, and a sense of belonging he never imagined possible. For the first time, he feels fully alive, not because of anything he owns, but because of the bond he shares with Zivai and Kamau. In the end, the once cold, distant billionaire learns a lesson that changes everything. Life's greatest treasures are not in contracts or bank accounts, but in the hearts of those who care for each other. Through a maid and a little boy, Tadala discovers family, a gift that money could never buy and an experience that transforms him completely. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more amazing African tales.